The problem we hear often, especially for business owners of small to medium-sized businesses, service-based businesses, they go to these conferences and they hear some new amazing thing.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else won in this way. And so they come back to their team and they're like, hey, we need to drop 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand over the next few months or whatever in meta ads only. We don't want people wasting money in the wrong places. And
Absolutely
we see it
not.
far too often. Let's throw money at the wall and see if it sticks. Clay, I got a coffee fact for you.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about increasing revenue, ramping up those conversions, and a little bit about coffee.
Clay, got another coffee fact for you.
Bring it.
Did you know that some of the best coffee shops in the country are not Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or even Dutch Bros? And I kind of hate to say that because they're a pretty cool business. But in fact, some of the best coffee shops in the world, in the country, and actually in the world too, are Intelligentsia. Have you been?
I've never
It
been.
was based out of Chicago. Phenomenal. They've got this really good Black Cat espresso they're known for. Actually, this is Luke's favorite coffee shop in the country. It's called Blue Bottle Coffee.
Really?
I actually think, I love Intelligentsia, but
I feel like some of our crew might argue.
I
with this.
radically
Blue Bottle.
believe that Blue Bottle has some of the best coffee education, best coffee, and they have stuck to third wave, which is like a true craft coffee, minimalist kind of things. There's some other really good ones out there like Onyx Labs and Counterculture, but Blue Bottle stands the test of time for me, and I will go to war with you on this. That's why it's a coffee fact.
Interesting. Okay. So
Blue
coffee
Bottle.
fact is that Blue Bottle is the winner.
I just think they're the best craft coffee in the country right now.
Why do you think that is?
They legitimately have some of the best education, and you'll like this.
But I don't drink it for education. I'm going to fight you on this.
They have some of the best hospitality I've ever seen.
Okay, all right. I won't fight you on
And
that.
it's consistent. We've been to Blue Bottles from San Diego to New York, and they are consistent everywhere we go. I've gotten free coffees. I've gotten birthday coffees. I've gotten free pastries.
Amazing.
They know how to meet you where they're at, and you can tell. Here's another hospitable fact for you: they care about the bean. They care about the process, and if it's messed up, they want you to have a good experience every time. So they ensure. So it's also just the service.
So they've got a guarantee on their coffee.
Essentially,
Wow.
we know a lot about guarantees.
We do. In fact, it's a really good marketing tactic. If we're going to tie in coffee and marketing.
Hey,
Conversion.
welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
To another episode of Coffee and Conversion. We're going to talk all things marketing, revenue, lead generation, content, and a little bit about our favorite liquid coffee.
Cheers.
I got the feet mug today. Do you like it?
It's something. It's something.
Zoom in on that.
Yeah. Going tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Clay, we have been talking about this for a very long time with Good Agency. A lot of our clients, they're clients who come to us who've maybe never spent money in marketing or have dabbled a little bit. They're in that, $1 to $100 million range that we connect with a lot. And the question often stands, how much should we spend on marketing?
Oof.
And what
That is a tough one.
And what should we expect to get out of it?
Yep.
Right? That's what we hear this a lot.
And all the time.
We often kind of go to the standard and in our conversations and say, hey, on average, most clients across the country are spending around 3 to 5% on marketing. And if you're looking for like rapid growth, you're probably going to be upwards of
10, 15, 20,
depending on capital and investment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think this is honestly one of the most terrifying things for business owners because it's in many ways it's a gamble.
Right.
They've
viewed
seen
as
it,
an investment.
They see it as a sunk cost, and they're like, "Why would I throw away 10, 20% of my revenue for marketing that may or may not work?" And I don't blame you. I think that is a completely fair feeling.
Scary.
Yeah, it is scary. So the reality of business though, is if people don't know about you, guess what's not going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to grow.
And do you know what we've heard more of with our for-profit, nonprofit entities in the past 6 months is those word of mouth referrals are starting to dry up.
Well, and I think it's because competition has become so so much more. I mean, it's a saturated space.
Yeah.
Most industries have quite a bit of competition now.
Yeah.
We've seen, especially in service-based businesses that don't require a lot of capital to get going, as layoffs have been happening around the world. And as immigration has increased here in the US and there's more and more and more people, there's nothing wrong with those things. That happens as a part of a healthy economy. But that requires us to pivot as business owners and say, hey, how do I make sure that I'm standing out? How do I make sure that people can see me through all the noise? I mean, we've talked about this before. On average, people see 5,000, 6,000 ads a day.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep track of all of that. I mean, it is truly impossible to get business if you are not standing out in some way. You could do it through word of mouth, where you are providing the most hospitable, high-end service, and you're ending up with referrals. Or if you have a small widget that you're trying to sell, you're leveraging your own personal audience that you've built on TikTok or social media and are pushing out that product and showing the use case and the value add. But the reality is all of that is marketing.
Yeah.
And when it comes to setting your budgets for marketing, a lot of people get confused about what goes into that. Most people think that is my ads. Whatever my ads spend is, that's my marketing budget.
My social media intern that I pay, $20 an hour. Yeah.
But what I challenge every business owner on right now, and so I'm talking to you guys, listening in, tuning in, I challenge you to view your marketing and sales as one department, a revenue department. And then I want you to ask yourself, why should I be investing in my revenue department? All of a sudden, it starts to make more sense. Of course, you should invest in, that's the whole point, is you're investing in getting a return on that investment is the goal. Just like you go to the stock market, just like you buy a house, you're making an investment, you're taking a calculated risk. And the problem with marketing, especially over the past, 15, 20 years, is it has been more of a gamble, because just like you download the Robinhood app and do your own trading on the stock market on your own, well, I mean, you might have a couple wins, but more than likely it's going to balance out or you'll lose money.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people, it's been so easy to do DIY marketing, or to hire someone who's good at DIY marketing, who isn't actually licensed, who isn't actually a day trader, but just knows enough to put a billboard up and say, I can do your marketing.
Well, and we should talk about how we break it down, because the problem that
I got on a soapbox
you and
there.
I love it. Well, it reminded me, the problem we hear often, especially for business owners of these smaller to medium-sized businesses, service-based businesses, they go to these conferences and they hear some new amazing thing.
Oh yeah.
Someone else won in this way. And so they come back to their team and they're like, hey, we need to drop 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand over the next few months or whatever in Meta ads only, or in LinkedIn ads, or in billboards, or like we've heard the most radical things.
Yeah.
And so what I think really would be helpful and beneficial as we talk about how we price things out for our business owners is, we don't want people wasting money in the wrong places. And
Absolutely
we see
not.
it far too often.
Yeah.
Let's throw money at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And so let's break it down a little bit more. The kind of, and we have this amazing pricing calculator that I think is super helpful.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about what we do in the breakdown.
Yeah. So I'm just going to use a fictional company right now, and it's inspired by true events. So I've got this fictional company, and they're doing about 9 million in revenue right now. And what they have historically done, and this is a challenge that we are facing, is they've historically grown by word of mouth, but now they've tapped out those networks, those resources, those friendships and relationships, and they're like, okay, well, how do I grow beyond those?
Yeah.
And so what we have to do is we have to be very sincere in our effort to win. You can't win with a half-baked marketing and revenue strategy.
Sure.
So what you need to first do is know, what are we even working with? So I would say for someone who's wanting to do aggressive growth, you should, unless you're a very low margin product, but if you're hovering around a 40% gross margin, which I'd encourage you to aim for as a business, then I'd say set aside 10% of your annual revenue as that aggressive growth budget. Because once again, we're not talking about stealing away $820,000 from your profit. We're talking about taking $820,000 and putting it in the market.
Right.
And saying, hey, I'm going to try to turn that $820,000 into another $8.2 million. So that's why it makes sense. It's not just a sunk cost. It's got to be an investment that you're aiming to. Otherwise, if you do it half-baked, if you're like, oh, I don't want to take that big of a risk, well, your reward will be minimal or non-existent. And so if you go 2.5%, well, a business of your size is going to need a budget big enough to facilitate sales, because you've got to talk about your entire budget, not just the budget for your ad spend. It's got to include your staff that are running your revenue team. It's got to include all of the overhead of that revenue team. So setting aside 10% is very easy at that point in time. So you just want to make sure that that budget is allocated appropriately. So I'd love to kick it back to you, Luke. Let's just say that this 8.2 million. And Steven, producer, if you could just make sure that we're sharing the screen in this moment, I'd love to know, what would you do with $820,000, a 10% budget to grow a business? Let's just say they're in the commercial construction space. Like I said, 100% fictional.
We have a few clients in this space. The thing about this, I'll go back to what you said earlier, is you as we look at this what may feel like a large percent of revenue and feel like a to many business owners sort of this like dagger in your purse there. We also have to understand, it's not like you're just taking $800,000 and throwing them into Facebook's weird algorithm.
And they love to take your money.
And they do like to take your money. What we're doing, to your point, is making sure we have the right person or people in place. So one of the things that we would actually start with first is we'd clarify message and foundations. We'd make sure everyone's on the same page. So we'd allocate a very small part of that budget to starting up foundations and putting together your plan. And we'd start to, as we'd look at sort of the audit of who you are, we'd look at what's currently coming into your website. Where are your salespeople already going out to conferences and in person, and what collateral do they have? And so we would do a good, we'd do a pretty in-depth assessment of like, where are we currently? And then we'll start to talk about, where can we meet our customer where they're currently at, and where are we not doing that, right? And so that's where we start to play into the larger budgets. Do we need website updates? Do we need to, and we'll talk about this on later episodes, but do we need specific service page landing pages that speak to certain problems that aren't really talked about? Do we need, what kind of digital ads do we need? What kind of video do we need? We're not just templating tactics and throwing them at every client that comes our way. We're really trying to get into the weeds and better understand, for a commercial construction company, who is their buyer? Who are they going to? Is it government contracts that they're leaning into to pave roads? Or is it ADA housing and they're building up huge, multifamily locations, and it has some government tie and funding, but it also has a lot of private investments. And so we have to really work with the leadership team to not just understand how we're marketing, but how is the whole business working in the flow of things, to really take those next steps. And so it would be a little inaccurate to say, yes, a huge commercial construction company should be on Meta running ads. Like, probably not. You should probably actually get a better LinkedIn presence and work on organic and work on maybe even whipping up some testimonial videos and some walkthrough videos of how do we build a project on YouTube and talk about the culture of your team and invite people into that process. And in doing that, you're going to start to find those sources and those channels start to expand the inbound leads.
100%.
Right?
So for everyone listening in, I'd love it if you would drop a comment in whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube or somewhere else, drop a comment and let us know what your experience is. What's the best, most successful marketing campaign you've run that's generated the most revenue? And then I'd love to hear also, what are you seeing the percentages being for your businesses by industry? Because like we said, I mean, every business does have different margins. Yeah. So some businesses operate on really slim margins and high volume of revenue. And then others, it's the exact opposite. And so love to hear what you guys are seeing. And excited to have the conversation offline or online.
We'll even make this your blueprint budget calculator available for you, so you can check it out and you can kind of play around with it with your business. And right there, if you want to talk about it with us, we're never really trying to pitch with this podcast, but if you want to talk about this in your area, as Clay mentioned, book a session with us and we can start to strategize for that. In the meantime, please subscribe to this channel, get connected with us, connect with Clay and I on LinkedIn, and let's just keep the conversation going. We're really grateful for you, and we'll see you on the next episode.